breaking down the deals, data, and disruption shaping global markets. You're listening to The Daily Ledger with Dennis Sert.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is Monday, November 3rd, 2025. This is The Daily Ledger. I am your host, Dennis Sert. Okay, we've got some good stories for you today, and then we're going to do some trades. All right, starting with our first story, we have OpenAI signing a deal with Amazon AWS. Wow, how crazy is that? Started out Microsoft only, didn't they? But here we go. AWS and OpenAI announced multi-year strategic partnership. Partnership will allow OpenAI to run advanced AI workloads on AWS's world-class infrastructure starting immediately. Well, apparently, they're going to be running hundreds of thousands of NVIDIA GB200 GPUs starting immediately. And then they'll be scaling, OpenAI will be scaling that to tens of millions of CPUs by 2027. So that's exciting. Today, AWS and OpenAI announced a multi-year strategic partnership that provides AWS world-class infrastructure to run and scale OpenAI's core artificial intelligence workload starting immediately. Okay, so it's $38 billion. That's the deal size. So that's pretty crazy. Yeah, I guess now OpenAI is multi-cloud. They were, I guess, multi-cloud before as well, technically, but they're more multi-cloud than they were before. So right now they're Microsoft. They're running ChatGPT on Microsoft Azure, Oracle, CoreWeave, and then now AWS. So yeah. Okay, next story. We have crypto down today, quite a bit. Apparently, Bitcoin dropped 107K. Ethereum is down, Bitcoin dropped to 107K. Excuse me. Ethereum is down -3%. And then basically about $400 million in totality in crypto, like longs, have been liquidated just over the past weekend. Yeah, and they're saying that it's due to, I guess, Fed speakers signaling no more rate cuts in 2025. Yeah, so I guess Jerome Powell said that when pretty much after they cut rates last Wednesday, he basically said, "Oh, well, you know what? We'll have to see for December. It's not guaranteed." I mean, but my opinion on that is that, of course, he's going to say that. I mean, what is he going to say? Yeah, we're definitely going to cut rates in December. No, he's not going to say that. He's going to sort of leave it in the open. So, anyways, so that may be why. Let's see what this article says. So I guess this article from cryptonews.com is talking about some altcoins and stuff. The broader sentiment remains cautious, with Bitcoin dominance stable above 44%, while traders eye potential short-term corrections if selling pressure persists. Meanwhile, two prominent Bitcoin whales have transferred massive amounts of Bitcoin to exchanges, sparking renewed market anxiety about potential sell-offs. Yeah. Let's see what has to say. Yeah, so to 107K, and then this is what we're talking about here, this drop. So that's kind of crazy. Okay, let's move on to the government shutdown. So that's still going on. Apparently today is the deadline that a federal judge gave President Trump to basically decide whether he's going to tap into contingency funds or not to pay for the SNAP program. 42 million Americans rely on that. Yeah, so that's sort of what's going on there. So there may be some buzz about that later today. I don't think he said anything yet about it. Yeah, apparently the Senate has voted 13 times to pass the to try and pass the continuing resolution. Of course, it hasn't been passed yet. That's why we're in the government shutdown period that we're in. So yeah, that's sort of where we're at on that. Okay. And finally, this is the last story in this lineup today, and I thought it was actually the most important. On Wednesday, the Supreme Court is looking at whether or not to strike down President Trump's emergency tariff power, as this article by the Financial Times is saying. Yeah, it's actually pretty bad because, well, basically, if Trump loses this case, the U.S. is going to have to, I guess, somehow trigger refunds, as well as slash the average U.S. tariff rate from 16.3% to 8%, so down by almost half, and also effectively upend almost every deal that President Trump has made year to date. Yeah, so this is actually a really big one, and they're hearing oral arguments on Wednesday. Apparently, President Trump is going to attend. So yeah, we'll see if that's still on Wednesday. But yeah, so it says here in this article, businesses, lawmakers, and former U.S. officials are pressing the U.S. Supreme Court to rule against Donald Trump's use of emergency tariff powers ahead of a showpiece hearing this week. Yeah. About 40 legal briefs have been filed by groups. Yeah, okay, so I don't really want to read the rest of this, only because just starting from the first sentence, it's pretty biased. I don't know. I try to stay neutral, but yeah, let's go on further. The case could also determine the future of more than $50 billion in extra tariff revenue that the U.S. government has collected in 2025. A windfall that has soothed investors nervous about U.S. borrowing levels. Wow, U.S. borrowing levels. Okay, this text has been highlighted 5 times by other subscribers. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. Yeah, so I guess that's all I have to say on that. But that's what's going on. Let's go ahead and switch to Byte AI and see what we got going on. So, wow, Amazon is overbought. All right, Amazon shows extreme overbought signs. RSI's at 70.9. That's pretty high compared to 50. MACD near the signal with a slight bearish tilt, and the price remains well within the Bollinger Bands, indicating no durable breakout or higher and a higher probability of mean reversion. The stock has surged aggressively today and across the week month, which increases the risk of a pullback or consolidation. While the new sentiment is mixed to bullish with AI cloud momentum supporting near-term upside, the current technical setup suggests limited upside without a corrective pause. Yeah, and especially since they signed that deal, I bet you that's already baked into the price. So, again, this isn't financial advice, but I personally would not want to buy on that, given that has already been baked in. So let's go into Robinhood here and see what we can sell. I'm just gonna probably sell all here for Amazon. Okay. No. Sell in dollars. Okay, so I have 235 in there. Okay, I guess I'll just sell all. Cool. Nice. I guess we're up 1.73% today. Very nice. Okay, so that's done. How about Microsoft? Microsoft shows a mild underbought setup with RSI around 43 and MACD near the signal line with a slight bullish tilt. The price sits near the lower Bollinger Band, but remains well within the bands, indicating a squeeze and a potential mean reversion towards the mid band rather than an immediate breakout. New sentiment is mixed to slightly bullish, with AI cloud demand activity and notable enterprise deals supporting a favorable near-term backdrop, even as macro conditions provide headwinds. Okay. Yeah, recent price action is negative today and modestly negative on the week. Okay, well, it seems like a buying opportunity. It's up $5, 1% today. Okay, yeah, let me just buy it. Okay, let me buy $100. All right, that's cool. What else we got? Well, I don't have Joby, so. Okay, and then I'll just take a quick look at Nvidia. I might have bought Nvidia, but well, I guess you'd want to sell on Nvidia at this point if you were sort of going like naively, because of the news of OpenAI's deal with Amazon, because there's probably going to be more compute. But the RSI isn't that high, or isn't that low, and in fact, it's above baseline at 51. Yeah, so I'd have to agree with the neutral stamp here because of that, as well as the fact that it's well with the price is well within the Bollinger Bands. Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually only going to do Robinhood action on the ones that are labeled as such, are non-neutral. So I guess we can actually leave it there today. Cool. Well, thank you for joining me on that finance news / stock journey today on this November 3rd. Hope you have a great day and hope you make lots of profits out there. Okay, this is Dennis signing off. Thank you.